she is. This is a very interesting and controversial book. Now the genre of it is, it's not a dark romance. I've seen it be called a like an alternative romance. I forget the exact wording I've seen, but it's about a high school student and her parents dies. They're very wealthy. Her parents were like millionaires, stars, and she was kind of neglected her whole life, but they end up dying and she ends up going to live with her step uncle, so they're not actually related. That's important. Her step uncle and his 3 kids, 3 sons, also that's important, up like in the middle of nowhere in the mountains, and tensions get thick, and by tension I mean sexual tension, yes, and things get weird. She ends up being with, I don't think this is a spoiler, with all of these men, and then yeah, it's interesting. It took probably like halfway through it to actually get sexual because I had anticipated it. I knew kind of what this book was about, so the build up was long, and I didn't love who she ended up with. I thought she was kind of stupid for it. I don't know, it's just my opinion. But at the end of the day, I still enjoyed it. I don't know, it was really messed up. Like definitely a different kind of book, but I still gave it 4 stars, so yeah. Okay, and now on to what I actually read in September. So the first book, most of these are from my TBR if you watched last month's video, so I am proud of that, but there are a couple additional books that I added on. So the first one I read that took me like maybe an hour to read. It's by Stephen King. It's called Elevation. Look at this book. It is teeny tiny. It's not even 150 pages. It's just a little novella, which I hadn't realized when I bought it, but it's a super cute little book. It's about a man living in this small town, and he starts to notice, so first of all, he's a big guy, like a build big, just a big dude, and he starts to notice that he's losing weight, but not showing it. So he looks the exact same, but on the scale, he starts losing it like a couple pounds a day, and then it kind of escalates. So it's like a weird journey of him losing this weight, and then he ends up telling some neighbors and his friend who's a doctor, and they're all worried for him. And then the more weight he loses, it affects him negatively. Like, you don't realize what that would do to a person, but he ends up not being able to like hold himself down and needs straps and all this, and yeah, it was really sad for being so short. It does hit you. It hits you, so it's a little bit sad at the end. And I think I rated this 3 stars. Like, it's a great little novella, but you know, it was just a nice little story. So that was the first one I read, and the next one, which to me was another super highly anticipated read for me. If you were on Booktok at all, you'll know Haunting Adeline is one kind of like credence that is a little controversial. So this book is a dark romance, like very dark. It is about a woman named Adeline. She inherits her grandmother's big, like giant mansion of a house. Once she dies and she lives there alone, she ends up finding evidence that her great grandmother was stalked her stalker, but then was murdered. And then she ends up being stalked, and has a stalker, and her stalker is this like vigilante. He has his own organization where he helps to end like child trafficking and sex trafficking, which is amazing, but he's also terrifying. Like, he's stalking her and gives no shits about her. Like, he's obsessed with her. She is also an adrenaline junkie, so it's kind of a battle between her being like, oh my god, I'm being stalked, this is horrible, and also this is kind of exciting and exhilarating. So it's her and her stalker, also her trying to solve her great-grandmother's murder. So, and this is also the book that took me 3 weeks to read. I don't know why. I don't know, but it did. So if you would have asked me when I was about halfway through it, I would have said that I would be giving this book 5 stars. However, it's a dark romance, and it is very smutty, like very smutty. By like the end, I don't know, I just felt like there was too much smut. I was just kind of getting over it. And then she was Addie was kind of frustrating me, like with the stalker. I'm like, you're so fucking stupid at some parts. But I did like the ending. It ended on a cliffhanger. There's a second book, Hunting Adeline, which I'm gonna give myself a couple months off from this, and then I'll get to that. But there was a cliffhanger, and I liked the ending, and I'm excited to get into the next one. So if you're looking for curse on him. Her and her cousin do, but they're kind of like joking around. They're not taking it seriously, just saying things like, oh, I want his hair to not do that thing anymore, or just silly things like that. But what they don't realize is that 9 years later, when Reese comes back to town, this curse has actually taken effect now that he's back in this town, and it's a lot worse than Vivian originally intended it to be. So they get closer and they have to work out how to break this curse, and it spreads through the town, and it's just really cute. I think I gave it a 4-star. So there's that. Okay, so we are now done all of the full books that I have read. Like I said, I was disappointed that I wasn't working last month and I only got through 4 full books. I flew through these 2, and also, so this one, My Killer Vacation. First of all, look at the cover. It's like all soft. I just love the cover. Oh, let me also say, the XX has a second book, which is called The Kiss Curse, which I believe is about her cousin, and it's supposed to be really cute and like really funny. I just bought it actually, and I'm not sure when I'll get around to it, but I'm excited too. So My Killer Vacation was on my TBR for September, and I had planned and tried so hard to get it done for this video, but I just couldn't. So we are about, I would say, 60 or 70% of the way done. Now this is written by Tessa Bailey, and she is a well-known romance writer. I think romance rom-com kind of. I actually haven't read any of her other books, but I know her well, and I actually have a bunch of her books. I love buying a bunch of books by an author and then reading them later. I don't know why I do that, but this is the first book of hers that I am reading, and so far I'm really loving it. It's again, just a cute little rom-com book, but mixed with a murder mystery, and hello, that just sounds perfect to me. So this book is about a sister and a brother. Her name is Taylor, and her brother Jude go on vacation, get this like gorgeous beach house on Cape Cod, and as soon as they get there, first they discover some like peepholes, and then they find a dead body in their beach house. So obviously they call the police. They're not staying in that beach house anymore. They meet the bounty hunter, who is a hired investigator to solve this murder. The sister of the murdered man, who also owns the beach house, hired this bounty hunter, to solve the case, because the police aren't doing much, and they think it's someone who the sister does not think it is. So this bounty hunter is like this huge, big, tattooed, like long hair, big, gruff, kind of scary looking guy. And him and Taylor, well, first of all, he's just smitten for Taylor, and she wants to be a part of the investigation because she's always played it safe, but something with this murder like flicked something in her, and she wants to help solve it, but he doesn't want her involved to keep her safe. But they keep coming together, and there is, I would say this is a smutty book, but there is so much tension between them, and just it's building up and building up, and it's really cute. I'm enjoying this. I think this will probably be a 4-star read. So now the last book that I have yet to finish, and I'm so embarrassed because this was supposed to be finished the last video. So I don't know why it's taking me so long to get through this book, but just been a little too smutty and not enough story. I'm struggling through it, but I don't want to DNF it, which means not finish it, like did not finish. I don't want to do that. So, yeah, my goal is to finish it this month. Alrighty guys, time to get into this month's October TBR, and this is such an anticipated month for me because it's Halloween and I freaking love Halloween. So it was very tough to choose books for this month, but I did manage it. We'll see how many I get through. Might switch some out, might, add some, take some away, whatnot. Let's get into it. So the first book is the only book on my TBR that's not like either a mystery or thriller or scary book of some kind since it's October. We have Fourth Wing. So this is a super anticipated book. This is probably or definitely like the biggest book of the year. It came out this year. It's written by Rebecca Yarros. It is I think, is it YA? I'm actually not sure if it's YA, but it's a fantasy and it's supposed to be an amazing like beginner fantasy book. This book is literally all over Booktok. Like it took Booktok by storm, bookstores by storm. It was sold out for the longest time. Like it's insane the impact this book has had, like getting people into reading, reading it all and reading fantasies, all of that. Everyone who reads it was like 5-star, like everyone's favorite book of the year. I've only seen a couple negative reviews on it, so I've honestly been putting it off because I know I'm gonna love it and I don't want it to be over, if that makes sense. But I also waited until now because I don't know, just like fantasy and dragons, like something about that kind of screams cozy fall vibes to me. So I think this is a nice time to get into it. So I really don't know that much about it, except that it's kind of takes place at like a school for riding dragons, which sounds awesome. So let's read a little bit of the inside. Okay. Enter the brutal and elite world of a war college for dragon riders. 20-year-old Violet Sorengale was supposed to enter the scribe quadrant, living a quiet life among books and history. Now the commanding general, also known as her tough as Talon's mother, has ordered Violet to join the hundreds of candidates striving to become the elite of Navarre dragon riders. But when you're smaller than everyone else and your body is brittle, death is only a heartbeat away. Because dragons don't bond to fragile humans, they incinerate them. With fewer dragons willing to bond than cadets, most would kill Violet to better their own chances of success. The rest would kill her just for being her mother's daughter, like Xaden Ryerson, the most powerful and ruthless wing leader in the Riders Quadrant. She'll need every edge her wits can give her just to see the next sunrise. Okay, so I'm so excited to get into this finally. So Rebecca Yarros was originally a romance writer. I know she has a lot of romance books. which sucks. Anyways, next book, we have The Haunting of Hill House, which I think the Netflix show series was based on. If you've seen that series, it was amazing. Such a good show. So I'll read a little bit about the back. So yeah, I did watch the show when it came out, and it's, you know, perfect haunted house Halloween vibes. That I've had this book for like a long while, probably since the show came out, and it's time to get to it. So first published in 1959. Oh wow, it's written by Shirley Jackson. So this book is being hailed as a perfect work of unnerving terror. It is the story of 4 seekers who arrive at a notoriously unfriendly pile called Hill House. Dr. Montague, an occult scholar looking for solid evidence of a haunting. Theodora, his light-hearted assistant. Eleanor, a friendless, fragile young woman well acquainted with poltergeists. And Luke, the future heir of Hill House. At first, their stay seems destined to be merely a chilling encounter with inexplicable phenomena, but Hill House is gathering its powers, and soon it will choose one of them to make its own. So I've noticed one difference between the show and the movie. No, the show and the book is that in the show they're all siblings and family members, but it seems like in the book they're not. So yeah, I love comparing books, you know, in shows or books in movies and picking up the differences. I think that's fun. So this one should be good. Okie dokie. And the next book on my TBR is a Stephen King book called The Colorado Kid. Would they learn the dead man's secret? Wait, new illustrated edition. I just saw that. Whoa, there's some pictures in it. That's fun. Nice. So this one I've had for years. I've read one other book in these like hard case crimes. I don't know what that means, but there's one other Stephen King one that I read that like that, and it was really good. I really liked it. So yeah, I've had this one for a while and just picked it up. So on an island off the coast of Maine, a man is found dead. There's no identification on the body, only the dogged work of a pair of local newspapermen and a graduate student in forensic. Turns up any clues, and it's more than a year before the man is identified. And that's just the beginning of the mystery, because the more they learn about the man and the baffling circumstances of his death, the less they understand. Was it an impossible crime or something stranger still? Cool. I love me a good whodunit murder mystery, so this one sounds fun. Okay, we have 4 more books. I may have been a little ambitious this month, but I'll do my best. So this one is The Girl on the Train, written by Paula Hawkins. This is another that I have had for years, and yeah, I definitely bought thrifting secondhand. It looks like this is a book that I see every time I go thrifting. I see multiple copies of this book. I don't know what it is with certain books. I always see secondhand. It's weird. So this one, this was made into a movie, I believe. I don't think I ever saw the movie, but I should watch it after I read this. So let's see a little bit about what it's about. There she sits, the girl on the train. What she sees gazing out the window will change everything. Every day the same. a minute until the train moves on, but it's enough. Now everything's changed. Unable to keep her discovery to herself, Rachel goes to the police. But is she really as unreliable as they say? Soon she is deeply entangled, not only in the investigation, but in the lives of everyone involved. Has she done more harm than good? That sounds fun. So it seems like she sees like a murder or something happen and goes to the police and they don't believe her or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Okay, and next book we have is One of Us is Lying, written by Karen M. McManus. This is a YA mystery. This is actually the second book, the sequel to One of Us is Lying, which is a book I read when it first came out. There's a group of, there were 5 of them, I think, and one person dies. One person dies. And it's like one of these 4 people. That book I actually didn't love. I actually suspected the ending. I figured it out really early on, and it wasn't creepy or really mysterious at all. But I've read a couple other books of hers, and they're YA, but I still enjoyed them. So I thought I would just give this one a go, see if it's any better than the first. The problem is that I read the first one years ago and don't remember anything about it except what I just told you. So I don't want to have to read it again, so I'll probably just look up a short synopsis of it and then get into this. So this one, it shouldn't take too long to read. It's a little thicker, but I believe her writing is pretty easy. So, it's a new school year at Bayview, and no secret is safe. Oh, that's all it says. Okay. Oh no, look, it's folded. Okay. Come on, Bayview, you know you've missed this. A ton of copycat gossip apps have popped up since Simon died. But in the years since the Bayview 4 were cleared of his shocking death, no one's been able to fill the gossip void quite like he could. The problem is no one has the facts until now. This time it's not an app though, it's a game, truth or dare. Phoebe's the first target. If you choose not to play, it's a truth, and hers is dark. Then comes Maeve, and she should know better. Always choose the dare. By the time Knox is about to be tagged, things have gotten dangerous. The dares have become deadly, and if Maeve learned anything from Bronwyn last year, is that you can't count on the police for help or protection. Simon's gone, but someone's determined to keep his legacy at Bayview High alive, and this time there's a whole new set of rules. Okay, you may have just got a little bit of a spoiler there from the first one, but that sounds pretty good. So yeah, I think I might enjoy this one better than the first. And now to more books. Both of these I received in the Book of the Month Club, which is a subscription book service I get each month, where you actually get to choose which book you get between 5 and 7 books. They're always new books. Some are early releases or debuts, but I've really enjoyed it. So this was my September pick. It's written by Riley Sager. It's called The Only One Left. So I just discovered him, actually. He's apparently a very good mystery thriller author, and I've heard good things about this book as well. I also love the cover of it. I just think it's so ominous looking, but also so simple with the house up there. Just really like it. So let's take a peeky. Okay. set foot outside Hope's End, the cliffside mansion where the massacre occurred. Stabbed her father with a knife, took her mother's happy life. It's now 1983, and home health aide Kit McDeer arrives at a decaying Hope's End to care for Lenora after her previous nurse fled in the middle of the night. In her 70s and confined to a wheelchair, Lenora was rendered mute by a series of strokes and can only communicate with Kit by tapping out sentences on an old typewriter. One night, Lenora uses it to make a tantalizing offer. I want to tell you everything. It wasn't me, Lenora said, but she's the only one not dead. As Kit helps Lenora write about the events leading to the Hope family massacre, it becomes clear there's more to the tale than people know. But when new details about her predecessor's departure come to light, Kit starts to suspect Lenora might not be telling the complete truth, and that the seemingly harmless woman in her care could be far more dangerous than she first thought. Okay. And the final book at TBR this month is the Lonely Sir Force, another book of the month club. Oh, this was from back in April, so I've had this a bit. Written by Megan Miranda. I don't know much about this, so let's see. 7 hours in the past, 7 days in the present, 7 survivors remaining. Who would you save? A decade ago, 2 vans filled with high school seniors on a school service trip crashed into a Tennessee ravine, a tragedy that claimed the lives of multiple classmates and teachers. The 9 students who managed to escape the river that night were irrevocably changed a year later, after one of the survivors dies by suicide on the anniversary of the crash. The rest of them make a pact to come together each year to commemorate that terrible night, to keep one another safe, to hold one another accountable, or both. Okay, this one's quite long, but at one of their meetings, things go wrong, so I'll leave that one like that. But they all sound good, and I'm really excited to have a mystery murder thriller month of October. If you guys want to kind of keep up with how my month is going, you can follow me on Goodreads. That's where I track what I'm reading, and I do updates throughout my books and kind of leave little notes as to where I am, what I'm thinking about them so far. My Goodreads and all of my links can be found. It's always in the description. If you click on my Linktree link, they're all there. Also, there is a my Booktok link, which is not ASMR, as well as all my ASMR stuff and a book wish list on Amazon. Those are books that